Hi everyone, I'm Asha, an Akashic Records reader, blogger, and podcaster. In this series, we will demystify the Akashic Records by bringing to you bite-sized contents on frequently asked questions relating to the Akashic Records. We will also explore topics relating to spirituality, as well as practical application, learnings, and reflections in the Akashic Records. My Akashic Masters are very excited to join us in this journey. We send much love, light, and blessings to all. Welcome to episode 12 of Case Study 3 of an Akashic Light reading and healing session. So today we will continue with the case study of another client whose name has been anonymized to allow us to appreciate deeper how an Akashic record session unfolds in reality. We will be exploring what questions the client asked during the session, what messages were received from her Akashic Masters, and what did we focus on for the healing segment. So let's begin. So let's call this client April. So April's first query to me was whether she should transition from a freelance to a full-time job. So she's currently holding on to a freelance job, but is exploring for more job opportunities. So when I tuned into her masters shared that for a freelance job, the good thing is that there is creativity and she has maximum freedom in terms of how she allocates her time and also job mobility. So she's not really desk-bound or bound by a fixed work routine. As for a full-time job, right now for her it may be difficult because the economy is bad. So if she quits her freelance job right now without a full-time job, she may be jobless for quite some time. And the masters also suggested for April to try to choose a job which ignites her interest or curiosity, instead of following the mainstream choices of what everyone else chooses. So April resonated with the master's messages and she shared that indeed she was offered a full-time job, but the job offer was withdrawn due to COVID. So right now she feels as if she's stuck with her freelance job. And she asked whether that full-time job offer that was withdrawn, whether it was meant to be hers. So when I tuned into her masters, they shared that she should look for jobs in the same industry and explore more opportunities. Don't be fixated on that one job offer that didn't work out in the end. On April's second query, she asked what is the key lesson for her past relationships that didn't work out. So April shared with me that all these years, she has been involved in relationships in and out, and none of the relationships seem to work out in the long term. So she wanted to understand what is the key lesson for her in all these cases. When I tuned into her masters, they shared that the key lesson is for her to practice patience. Don't take things too fast. On why her previous relationships didn't work out, I was shown an image of a castle with a long ladder. To reach a small window at the top of the castle where April resides. So the master's message was, for anyone to reach April, they feel that they have to climb a steep flight of steps up the ladder and walking through that small little window. And because it is so arduous and so difficult, by then many have given up. But those past relationships were also not meant to be hers. So what April really needs to learn for herself is to do her inner work, heal the past to walk out of the window herself, so that she is able to embrace new beginnings, being open to receiving people's love and affection. On April's third query, she asked how to release from her past relationships. So tuning in at a deeper level to her masters, they shared the message is for her to forgive, release, and let go. So how can she do so? April can do so by digging out what is buried deep inside her heart, which is the fear of love and the fear of being hurt, to face them directly and intend for them to be released. Because the past is no longer applicable, April needs to learn to reconcile the past, forgive all those people who have hurt her, who have abused her, who have not treated her as what she would have imagined or expected or yearned for, to release them and be open to new beginnings. On April's fourth query, she asked what are the key lessons for her relationship with her dad. So when I tuned in to her masters, they shared the key lessons are brutality, anger, and forgiveness. So we tried clarifying further with her masters, what do they mean by each of these words. On brutality, masters clarified that the father sometimes uses toxic words, thoughts, and actions, inflicting them on April. So what April needs to learn is to recognize that her father is suffering and accept that he needs to grow at his divine timing. On anger, the anger that April has two sides. One is the anger that she has towards her dad for all the harm, pain, and abuse that he has ever inflicted upon her. And on a deeper level, her anger with herself that needs to be released. And lastly, to forgive her dad, because again, to recognize that he is suffering. So when someone is angry and someone holds abusive words and actions on others, masters sometimes remind us that they are suffering, to try to see them as children who are deeply hurt from within. And that is why they are unable to control their emotions and sometimes lash out at people. On the fifth query, April asked how she can help alleviate her mom's suffering with respect to the dead. So her masters shared that April can protect her mom through inner wisdom and knowledge by not reacting to the dad's angry words, thoughts, and actions with even more anger, but to take a step back, learn to see that her mom has her own karmic lessons with the dad. And most importantly, to always be ready on the sidelines to show more care and concern for her mom. On the sixth query, April asked how she can be in a good space with a better mental state. So her master suggested for her to consider meditating 15 minutes a day. It helps to calm down her mind, and she can see it as an investment for more mental space throughout the day. Her masters also suggested for April to take up exercise so that she can release more endorphins, happy hormones, that allow her to feel more calm, balanced, and centered throughout the day. So April resonated with the messages, and she shared further that she has been dealing with mental state problems for 10 plus years. She finds it so much of a struggle, and she feels so alone battling with this illness that very few people understand. When I tuned into her masters, I received a message with a knowing that despite the social stigma, April can consider consulting a psychologist or counselor if needed. Because from her master's perspective, if it makes you feel lighter and brighter, why not? And the masters also shared that they are in no way criticizing or judging her, and they would like to encourage her to seek treatment, not to worry so much of the mainstream stigma, but to follow her heart to find the treatment that she deserves. On April's last query, she asked her masters, what is the one thing that she has done well and should continue doing? So her masters showed me an image of two cliffs and a shaky bridge in between, with April in the middle, balancing and striding forward to get from one end to the other end. And the message was persistence. And on the final messages for April, her masters shared that be a happy child. You are good as you are. So on the healing segment of this session, we focused on the issues that arose during the session. So first issue that arose was the difficult relationship that April has with her father, as well as the past relationships that didn't work out. So for this, we ran healing to release the fear and also the anger that April holds towards herself and towards others, including her dad. So all this that is ready to be released, we are creating the space for April to process this and allowing the healing to take place. Also, on April's need to find a job and also the struggles in deciding what to do to move forward, we also ran healing to enhance her trust towards herself, to allow her to be in a more calm and centered state, to feel the peace, compassion, and universal love within, and most importantly also to remind her that she has a choice and she's most empowered to decide what to do to move things forward for herself. So for the healing segment, it is an opportunity for her to sit within her Akashic records and receive the healing from her Akashic masters. This allows greater and deeper shifts to take place. So that is why it is so important for an Akashic records session to not only have the reading component where clients are entitled to ask questions and the reader will try her best to channel messages from the client's Akashic Master. So that is one component to enhance clarity. There is also importantly another component of healing where the Akashic Masters can assist the client to create deeper shifts, be it releasing the past, embracing new beginnings, creating new opportunities for ourselves. The Masters are always ready to provide us with the healing, so long as we give them the permission to do so. Thank you for tuning in to this podcast. If you would like to read about my dialogues and reflections with the Akashic Masters, you can visit my free blog at asha-akashicrecords.com. Till next time, take care.